Hey, what's going on, guys? This is going to be a really quick video just to show you how to make some weapons look a little bit more dynamic. Now, not too long ago we took a look at this option set here, and inside, among the different weapons and things that you can make, is this cool axe, but the handle is not really that long. And let's say you wanted to make a cool action pose where it's swinging the axe, but you want it to be a little bit bent so that you're really kind of capturing the weight of that, so it really looks like it's swinging around, like the pole is actually bending a little bit. So first off, really what we're going to need to do is just replace this little dinky piece that comes included with this with something a little bit longer. Now, fortunately, right here on the runners, you'll notice we've got plenty to spare. Now, I think we could take a part of this and it'd be easily doubly longer. We could take a part of this bigger runner here. We could have it be substantially longer, but I think this one will probably be enough. So I'm going to just cut off this piece of runner here. Obviously, we also need to get rid of these parts, and it's still not going to be perfect, so we can clean that up a little bit more by just cleaning those nubs up from cutting these bits off, sanding that down. And this is just for demonstration purposes, so I'm not really super worried about it being perfectly clean, but I'll just clean it up a little bit so it looks a little bit more presentable for you guys. Alright, there we go. So there's our new piece, and as you can see, like I said, it's about double the length of the old piece almost. And of course, you also need to keep in mind the size of the runner. Not all runners are molded like where the actual parts there are in the right thickness. This one should be fine though, and let's just go ahead and test that, make sure that it's going to fit in there. Alright, and yeah, it does fit. So now our axe has a much longer handle there, which is very cool, but now we need to bend it. Now, you can do this with just hot air using a hairdryer or a heat gun or something like that if you want. I found it to be just as easy to do this with just hot water though too. And so we're going to do this there with some hot water, and also going to pull out the old HG Gundam, a kit that I quite liked, and also give this some bend, a more dynamic look to its beam saber part here as well. Now, bending the beam saber is going to work exactly the same, just needs some hot water. Alright, here we are. You can see you got some steam coming off there, very warm indeed. So let's just go ahead and just need to dip that in there, and it just takes a few seconds. Really shouldn't take that long. This water is not boiling, by the way. You could boil it, that would make it work even faster, but it just needs to be hot. It's just very hot here. And you can bend this in the water. What you can do is just kind of like press it up against the side, and that will bend it a little bit. Otherwise, just once it's warm enough, you can pull it out and bend it by hand. This also, I think, gives you a nice good bend without making any kinks in it. Sometimes if you do it by hand, it can be easy to bend it too hard. And there you go. As you can see, you got a nice bend to that. Looks very even, no kinks or anything. Looks like a very realistic bend there. If you want to get maybe even just a little bit more towards the end there, we could do that. Maybe just leave it in there a few seconds. And it will be hot, of course, but it's fine to just touch that by hand. It's not too bad. So I don't know. Anyway, that's good enough for our beam saber effect part. Now, as for our axe handle here, it's slightly thicker, so I think this is maybe going to take a little bit more effort to get this one bent, but we'll just hold it in there for a few seconds, and again, just kind of pressing it up against the interior wall of the cup here, or whatever you're using, is just a good indicator to know if it's bending or not. If you're pressing it up against there and you're not really noticing it bending at all, then it needs some more time or your water needs to be hotter, but this water should be hot enough. And also, this one I don't want to be bent too much, not quite as much as the beam saber, because it is supposed to be an actual rigid, metal rod. So you would think it shouldn't bend that much. That wouldn't really be ideal. There we go. That's looking pretty good. Let's go ahead and get our axe blade back on here and get this in the hands of a good axe-wielding Gundam kit that we can test this out on. Okay, let's take a look at this. I'm just going to have to manually rotate this, as apparently my rotating base just decided to crap out on me right before doing this. Oh well, at least you guys will be able to see that. So you got a little bit of bend there. It looks pretty cool, and definitely looks a lot better with a longer handle on there, especially for an Iron Blood Orphans kit like this. They got to have the big over-the-top melee weapons, so I think this definitely fits really well with that. Now, one thing just about the axe, that it's got a lot of like hollow spaces and stuff in there. Some people might not like that detail about this particular weapon, but of course this whole idea of making this sort of handle like that for any sort of weapon similar like this you can do. So there's a lot of like actual Iron Blood Orphans weapons in some of the weapon sets, and then come with some of the kits that are similar, that you could employ this same technique of bending the rod like that to make it look more realistic or more cool, more dynamic looking, I guess. And then for our beam effect there too, as you can see, definitely looks a lot better once you got that bend in there. It just looks a lot more dynamic, looks a lot more like how you would typically see it in the anime or something, right? They're usually slashing like that. It's more not just a perfectly straight beam more often than not. So definitely looks very cool, very easy to do. You don't really need any special tools for that at all. You need just some hot water and easy enough. So that's it, guys. If you do have any other further questions about that, I think it's pretty simple, but if you have any questions, you can feel free to ask down below. I hope this video was helpful for anyone who wants to make some more dynamic effects like that. So thank you all so much for watching, and as always, guys, thank you to USA Gundam Store for making it all possible. Check out these kits and all sorts of stuff there on USA Gundam Store. The link is down below. You can use my coupon code there as always, guys. So till next time, hope you're all having a great day. Bye, guys.